Dear students, in this class 9, we learn the refraction through curved surfaces. Say, just you might have seen this. In a clear water bottle filled with water, if you look at something, it's not very clear, it is somewhat distorted. Why this happens? Because refraction of light when it passes through curved surfaces like water bottle surface is different from the refraction on plane surfaces. That's why it creates a distorted images of the objects what we see. Now we learn in this session, first of all, what is the refraction at curved surface. That means a curved surface acts as surface of separation, and one side of the surface is one medium, other side is other medium. And we learn the sign conventions also here. That is, say all the sign conventions what we used for mirrors are also valid here. And here all the laws of refraction are also valid. Again, what is valid for plane surfaces. Now we write down a figure there. Say, I imagine this as a curved surface. And if we draw, say if we point out the midpoint, it is again the pole. If we draw a line passing through the pole and center of curvature, the same definitions what we learnt in a mirror are valid here. That's why I am using the same words again, center of curvature and pole. But observe, on the left hand side we have one medium, on the right hand side we have another medium. And N1 may be larger than N2 or N2 may be larger than N1. That means the surface may be concave, that is this side, towards the denser or towards the rarer medium. That depends on the different cases. But again to say, in this type of refraction through curved surfaces, you can, as you can remember, the normals what we draw in case of mirrors, that is a line, radial line, starting from center of the curvature to a point on the mirror. Here it is on the surface of separation like this. This acts as a normal at M. Therefore, in case of curved surfaces, normal is nothing but the line, radial line joined from center to any point on the surface. As we have written here, it is Cm there. So with these things, now we start learning to go for a formula for refraction through curved surfaces. We want to derive that now. Just think of writing the figure like this. We write the diagram for refraction through curved surface, and then we start deriving the things. Say, I write the surface like this, and we draw the principal axis as we know from the mirror idea like this. Then this is the pole there, and this is center of curvature, and we imagine an object here, O. We draw an incident ray like this. It is incident at M, say. Now the normal to be written like this. Say normal can be written like this. This is the normal. Now the ray bends towards the normal We imagine like this. This is the refracted ray. Now we mention the angles there. I angle of incidence and the refractive index of this first medium N1, and on this side N2 we imagine N1 less than N2, rarer to denser drop, and we call this where the image is formed, that is refracted ray touches the principal axis, and this angle is angle of refraction R. Also we name some angles and we list the distances there. Say we take this distance from pole to the principal axis, say pole to the object, like this. This distance we call it as object distance, and here say this distance is, can you say what it is? Radius of curvature, and this distance is say V, the image distance at which the image is formed. We draw a line there to mark this is the image distance. Now we write the angles there. This angle I call it as alpha, this angle beta, and this is gamma. For the sake of simple writing, we mark them alpha, beta, gamma. Now we also draw a line perpendicular to the principal axis from M, as we did in mirrors also. I draw that. This I call as D. Say D is approximately equal to P for paraxial rays. Now we start deriving the things there. Say we want to connect N1, N2, UV and R in this derivation, that is called as refraction through curved surface. Say we write, we are deriving refraction formula for curved surface. For curved surface. So refraction formula means it should involve N1, N2, U, V and R, because they are the variables there. Now how to start with, how to derive this equation? Say our idea itself tells us you have to connect N1 and N2. We know N1 and N2 are connected by Snell's law. Therefore, from Snell's law we write Snell's law, we write N1 sin I equals N2 sin R. For small angles, that is for paraxial rays, for small angles, we know sin theta approximately theta. Therefore, N1 I equals N2 R, because sin I is written as I, sin R is written as R. Now, say we have to write for I and R to obtain the final formula. For I and R, how do we write? Just look at the diagram. I is the exterior angle for triangle OMC. Therefore, I take from triangle OMC, I can be written as gamma plus beta. Similarly, R is in the triangle MCI. From triangle MCI I can write beta, the exterior angle, is equal to R plus alpha, or R equals beta minus alpha. Therefore, getting the values of alpha, beta and gamma by using the trigonometry from figure, Say in triangle OMC itself, I can write, say we write like this, from triangle OMD, from triangle OMD, tan gamma equals MD by OD. By small angle approximation, gamma equals approximately gamma equals MD by OD. Similarly, from triangle MDC, tan beta MD by DC. By small angle approximations, beta equals MD by DC. Similarly, we can write for gamma alpha also, we write from triangle MDI, tan alpha equals MD by DI, or by small angle approximation, alpha equals MD by DI. Now, with these things, we substitute everything for I and alpha in the equation 1, what we have written, N1I equals N2R, and we get the final things now. Just observe, I write the equation like this. N1, instead of I write gamma plus beta, which is equal to N2 R. Instead of R, I can write beta minus alpha. We substitute everything for gamma, beta and alpha. We write N1 gamma is MD by OD plus beta MD by DC, which is equal to N2 into beta MD by DC minus alpha MD by DI. Observe the things, MD are all common and it goes out. And also from figure, OD equals U, DC equals R, DI equals V. We substitute everything. So N1, 1 by U plus 1 by R, N2, 1 by R minus 1 by V. We simplify this by multiplying N1 on to both sides. We have N1 by U, N1 and N2 on both sides respectively, N1 by R, N2 by R minus N2 by V. Therefore, taking U and V onto one side, I write N2 by V plus N1 by U equals N2 minus N1 by R. But from sign convention, we can write. Can you tell me what we can write? Say, observe, from sign convention, say in this figure what we have written, R is positive because it is in the direction of incident ray, V is positive, U is negative. So we write like this, U negative, V and R are positive. So we substitute everything. N2 by V minus N1 by U equals N2 minus N1 by R. This is called as curved surface refraction formula. And we can also write this, or we can also write this in another form, which is easy to remember also. For that, we take up the first figure again and we learn some definitions. Say, in this first figure, the object is O is in N1 medium, that is medium of refractive index n1, and incident ray is traveling there. This we call as image space, where incident ray is traveling. After refraction, refracted ray, say mi, is traveling in second medium n2 of refractive index n2. So this medium is called as image space. So n1 is object space refractive index, n2 is image space refractive index. Therefore, n1 can be called as NO, O stands for object space. n2 can be called as Ni, where I stands for image space. Now, with this idea, we can write the equation what we have derived as n1 equals NO, object space refractive index, n2 Ni, image space refractive index. Therefore, we can write Ni by V, NO by U equals Ni minus NO by R. Observe, this will help us to remember this formula easily. Ni, refractive index of the image space divided by image distance. Observe, both are related to image. NO, the object space refractive index divided by object distance, where O, object, both denominator and numerator are related to object. So this is the formula for curved surface refraction, final formula. It is valid for all the cases. That means if the surface is concave towards denser or concave towards rarer, in such cases. Now, before proceeding further, we just go through the derivation once again. But before starting the recapping of this derivation, observe there are 3 steps in this, or 3 or 4 steps to remember or to write to derive the equation. First of all, you write the figure. Second stage, apply the Snell's law and apply the small angle approximation. The third stage, write expressions for alpha, beta, say I and R, using alpha, beta, gamma, using tangent angle. Once you write down all those things, substitute for I and R in terms of alpha, beta, and simplify, you will get the result. Let us go through the derivation once again. I just bring the first sheet back. Just observe. In this, I have written a curved surface. Onto the right of it is of refractive index n2, and to the left of it is of the refractive index n1. And I have taken n1 is smaller than n2, that is rarer to denser travel. Light should bend towards the normal. That's why OM, the incident ray, bend towards the normal, and R is smaller than I. Now with this figure, from Snell's law we know n1 sin I equals n2 sin R. And for small angle, sin theta is theta, therefore sin I is I, sin R is R, therefore n1 I equals n2R. Now for writing I and R, we have to go for exterior angle property of the triangle. From triangle OMC, I is exterior angle, gamma and beta are opposite interior angles, therefore I equals gamma plus beta. From triangle MCI, beta is exterior angle, R and alpha are opposite interior angles, therefore beta equals R plus alpha, R equals beta minus alpha. Now we write alpha, beta, gamma like this. From triangle OMD, I write tan gamma as MD by OD. For small angles, tan gamma is gamma, so gamma is MD by OD. In the same manner, for triangle, from triangle MDC, tan beta MD by DC, or beta equals MD by DC. From triangle MDI, say MDI, I can write tan alpha as MD by DI, alpha equals MD by DI for small angle. Once we have written these things, we substitute I and R for the first equation, N1I equals N2R. So I is gamma plus beta, R is beta minus alpha. This is the equation. Now we substitute for gamma, beta and alpha, and substituting for OD as U, DC as R, DI as B, we get this and we rearrange the terms to get N2 by V plus N1 by U equals N2 minus N1 by R. From sign convention, U is negative because it is towards the left of the say incident ray direction, that is in the opposite direction to incident beam. V and R are positive because they are measured in the same direction as incident beam. Therefore, we get finally this relation. And to easily remember, we can also get the idea of image space and object space. Object space is the space where the incident ray is traveling and its refractive index is mentioned as NO instead of N1. Image space is the one where the refracted ray is traveling and it is written as, say, image space. Now, replacing the N1 and N2 by N1 and Ni, we get this relation. So, this concludes the derivation of curved surface refraction. We start solving some numericals on curved surface refraction formula what just we derived. Now we read this problem. Light from a point source in air falls on spherical glass surface n 1.5, that means refractive index 1.5 and radius of curvature 30 centimeter. The distance of the light source from the glass surface is 100. What is the portion of the image formed? Say, we write down what are the things given. Say here, point source of light is the object. In air means object space refractive index NO is, or N1 is 1. Then image or image space is Ni, N2, what we taken as 1.5. And radius of curvature of the surface is given to be 30 centimeter. The distance of the light source from the glass surface, U, is given minus 100 centimeter. We are asked to calculate V. So we write down the formula, and for the sign conventions, say if this is the spherical glass surface, we are taking this as the diameter, axis passing through the diameter, then object is light source somewhere here, the light ray travels like this. Therefore, object is in the medium 1, that is why NO is N1 equals 1, Ni, N2, the refracted ray travels in the glass sphere, therefore 1.2 Ni, and radius of curvature is plus 30 because we measure in this way, direction of incident beam, and U, this way we measure, therefore U is negative. We straight away substitute the formula and we get the final answer. Say, formula for this is Ni by V minus NO by U, Ni minus NO by R. We substitute everything. 1.5 by V minus 1 by minus 100 equals 1.5 minus 1 by R 30. Say that is 1.5 by V plus 1 by 100 equals 0.5 by 30. If we simplify this, we get V as 128.5 centimeter. That is positive. That is, image is formed to the right of the pole, that is towards the right side in the direction of the incident beam. Therefore, this is the answer now. Going for the second question now, we read it. A spherical glass paperweight has a color dot inside it. When it is viewed along the diameter through a surface nearer to the dot, it appears to be at a distance of 9 cm from the surface. If the radius of the sphere is 15 cm and refractive index of the material of the paperweight is 1.48, find the actual position of the colored dot inside the paperweight. How far the same dot would appear if it is viewed from the other surface. That means a spherical glass paperweight is given. Say we write down the figure here. Just imagine, if we imagine this is the spherical glass paperweight, it is the axis on the diameter. Now this is center of the sphere. What are the things we are given here is when the dot is viewed along the diameter, that is from this direction, on the surface nearer to the dot. Say we imagine dot is here. It appears to be at a distance of 9 cm. That means, say, the image distance from the curved surface, I call it as VC, 9 cm. C stands from curved surface 1, C1 we say. Then the radius is given to be 15 cm. If the radius is 15 cm, refractive index is 1.48. We are asked to calculate UC1, that is object distance or dot distance from the surface nearer to it. So UC1. Now we solve this first one. Just observe, we substitute the formula N1 by VC1 are all positive. Say VC1 positive, radius of curvature positive. So we write the formula here. Ni by V minus No by U, Ni minus No by R. We substitute everything now. Ni, say image is formed in the air, so Ni is taken as 1 by V minus No is 1.48 by U. This is 9 cm. U equals 1 minus 1.48 by R, 15 cm. Now simplifying all these things, we will get the final answer for U as minus 10.35 centimeter. You will get the answer as minus 10.35 centimeter. That is the actual portion of the object from the nearest side. Now, we read the second part of this problem. How far the same dot would appear if it is viewed from the other surface. Say, from the farthest surface, from the second side, farther side, this is farther side, this is nearer side. Now, from the farther side, the things are given to be like this. Say, we want to find out VC2, that is from the farther side. R and all those things are same. UC1, UC2 is, say, 30 minus 10.35 is the UC2. 30 is the diameter, 10.35 is the original object distance. Therefore, if we substitute everything into the formula again, 1 by V minus 1 0.48, it is plus UC2 equals minus 1. Say minus 0.48 by 15, same thing again. Now, if we substitute everything now, 1 by V plus 1.48 by UC2 is 19.65. So 19.65 equals minus 0.48 by 15, which amounts to be finally V equals minus 23.5 centimeter. So this is the second answer. That is, when we view it from farther side, image appears to be at 23.5 centimeter. So this is the second problem what we solved now. We go for the third one. A hemispherical glass paperweight has a small red bead embedded at a distance of 1.5 centimeter from the plane surface on the line perpendicular to the plane surface and passing through the center of the hemisphere. When the bead is viewed, we read it. When the bead is viewed through the plane surface along the line, it appears to be at a distance of 1 centimeter. Find the position of the bead as seen from the spherical surface along the line. Radius of the hemisphere is 4.5. We write the figure first and then we think of the idea. Say hemisphere, we write it like this. This is the diameter passing through the center. Center is here. Now, what are the things given? We read. Say a red dot, red bead is at a distance of 1.5 centimeter from the plane surface. This one, 1.5. I call it as object distance, 1.5. UP is 1.5 and say now as the radius of curvature given to be 4.5 centimeters, that is R. Now, and also it is given there, it appears to be at 1 centimeter from the plane surface. Say when we view it from this side, plane surface image distance VP I call, it is 1 centimeter. And the curved surface distance, object distance, you see what we can call, is to be calculated. So now we start with the problem. First of all, the formula, find the position of the bead as seen from the spherical surface along the line. The formula for this again, Ni by V minus No by U is Ni minus No by R. But here observe, we write Ni is 1, the image space. No, the object where the dot is there, that is, I call it as N. And R is given. We start substituting the things there. R is minus 4.5. We substitute everything. Ni is 1. But what is N? To calculate N, we have to use the plane surface refraction formula and then we come back to the substitution. Say N from the plane surface we know is from normal shift, real depth by apparent depth. It is 1.5 by 1, which is 1.5. Therefore, if we substitute that Ni is 1, N 1 by V minus NO is 1.5 by U, UC. Means, say UC is in fact 4.5 minus R minus 1.5 with minus sign is equal to Ni1 minus 1.5 divided by R. R is minus 4.5. If we simplify all these things, say for V, we will get this. Say 1 by V plus 1.5 by 3, which is equal to minus 0.5 by minus 4.5. With all these things, we get the final answer as for V as 6. That is minus 6. You can calculate that 6 centimeter. That means when we view it from the curved surface side, the image appears to be at 6 centimeter. So that is the third problem. We go for the fourth problem and last problem for this session. A small object is 0.02 meter below the concave meniscus of a water in the test tube. We write the figure. Say if you imagine this is the test tube walls and meniscus of the water, concave meniscus means the meniscus is like this. The object is at distance here of this distance is 0.02 meter and the radius of the meniscus, say R, given to be 0.005 meters, and then refractive index of water N is given to be 4 by 3. Find the nature and position of the image. We start solving the things there. Say U is minus 0.02 meters and N O 4 by 3, Ni 1, R 0.005 meters. We substitute everything here. Ni by V minus NO by U, Ni minus NO by R. We substitute everything. Ni is 1 by V minus of minus plus NO 4 by 3 by 0.02, which is equal to 1 minus 4 by 3 by R 0.005. So substituting everything, we get the final and calculating the things, we'll get final calculation as V equals 0.75 into 10 raised to minus 2 meter. That means 0.0075 meters. So this is the position of the object with minus sign there. Position of the object. That means the image is formed inside the water itself. That's why it is UV negative. This is the answer there. This concludes the 9th session of ray optics. In the next session, we continue with what is called as lens and other things.